Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Coaches Lounge with yours truly, Barbara J. Beckley as your host. This show, to me, is the most awesome show that is around. And maybe I'm just saying that because I created it. Okay, maybe. But I heard some other people like it too. Because what I do is I say I want coaches, educators, and mentors to be selfish today. I want them to make sure that they are spotlighted. A lot of times I don't see that. I don't see the love sometimes. These coaches are behind the scenes of some greatness in the world right now. And I tell people a lot of times they wouldn't be great unless their coaches were with them. I can name a few. We have Oprah. Okay, everybody knows Oprah. That's like worldwide, right? That's global. We have Oprah. We have so many other individuals. It's not just in the media, but in broadcasting, in sports, and health and wealth and everything. You have these big names, and all of them has a coach, and sometimes more than one, including yours truly. I have a coach, and I'm a coach. Probably the coach that's coming on, the wonderful queen that's coming on that I got to have, she probably has a coach too. I mean, we all learn and grow from each other. You always want somebody just a little bit higher so they can push you and show you that you can be all you can be. And that's what coaches really, I mean, in a nutshell, there's different types of coaches, but in a nutshell, each coach that is coaching you wants you to be the greatest that you can be. And they see something in you that sometimes you don't even see. So with that, I said, you know what? Now I need to flip the script and let people really understand what coaches are about, how they started. Where did they get their just energy to help so many others and be a lighthouse, as I always say, to the world? This particular one. And I love bringing on, I told her before in the virtual green room, I said, I call women queens because I really respect what they do. And we juggle a lot. I'm telling you, if you know some, ladies, we do that. Who can take care of their kingdom? Then they got their home, then they got other things going. Some people have jobs and their businesses. I mean, and the list goes on. So this particular queen, because we're spotlighting Josette, she is amazing. And now I told her, because I'm very, I'm open. I always tell people I'm vulnerable when I do my show. So I might spit out and say anything, but it's because I'm real. We're real here, right? I told her, I said, I'm going to let her say her last name because I didn't want to mess up her last name because she's a queen and you don't mess up queens' names. So with that, I'm going to make sure when she comes on, she says her whole name, but Josette, she is queen. She has her crown on. And I always ask people that come on, what would you name this show if you were to name it? And she put down Personal Reintervention Guide, teaching others how to own their story and step forward boldly. And I said, she's my queen because I love that. I love it, love it, love it. We're going to talk a lot about that. She is the founder and producer of Josette's XMP Productions LLC. Okay, celebrity level, celebrity. She basically is a personal reintervention guide. She helps purpose-driven individuals turn life transitions, experiences and hard-earned lessons into clear, confident messages that own them to be seen, heard, and valued. Now, that's just a little glimpse of what she does. This woman is just amazing. Like I said, celebrity status. So with that, she's going to really dive into, because she has my heart right here when it's talking about, first of all, having confidence. Second of all, being bold with your gift that you have, because we all should be bold. And third of all, hearing the value of you and understanding that your stories matter to others. She basically flips the script for everybody. This woman is truly amazing. And I'm going to stop because I don't want to take up none of her more time to talk about what she does to us. Because again, she gets to be selfish today. We will be right back after this message. are back, and we are back with the wonderful Queen Josette. And if you're just tuning in, you're here at the Coaches Lounge with yours truly, host Barbara J. Beckley, where I tell the coaches, mentors, and educators to be selfish today because I want them to talk about how they are a lighthouse to the world and what they do with others. So, Miss Queen.
Hi, Barbara. Thank you so much for having me on your wonderful show. You were highly recommended by many people, so I'm going to make sure that people hear and know about you as well. You are the celebrity. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just doing my thing over here, but it's an honor to be on your show.
Thank you. It is a privilege. I always like to start off by thanking you because you could have been doing anything else today, Queen, but you decided to say, you know what, let me come on this show with Barbara and talk a little bit about me, which is you. So I do appreciate you so much. And we're just going to dive into it, lady, because I know people really want to get a chance to know you. And there are some things that you want to talk about today that is so important. So I'm going to tell people right now, the audience that's listening, get a pad of paper and a pen. You're going to want to take some notes. Because I know this queen is going to be dropping some golden nuggets for us. And then also, I always tell people while you're listening to this queen, you might need her in your life to help you grow, or you might know somebody else. So don't just cut it off by you. Always think about somebody else in your life that might need to be, upgraded with a coach like Josette. So Josette, before we start, please say your total name because I don't want to goof that up. I don't want to mess that up.
You said it beautifully, but my name is Josette Pelatan.
Pelata. Love it, love it, love it. Now, Josette, are you like in the United States or are you global?
I am international really, but I live in El Paso, Texas at the moment, at the
Okay.
border of Mexico. I've been here for a very long time, so I call it home. But I grew up in France, which is why I have a French name and a French accent.
I knew it. I said I knew it because I always love my global queens that either started in the global or here in the US because we have to give you so much love. This is what it's all about is queens lifting up queens in any type of capacity. So yes, love the accent, love you. And I'm going to move forward because we need to talk about you more. So with that, queen, I know I mentioned before we get into some, things that you do for others, I always like to draw back the curtain for each coach because you didn't start off being a celebrity just all of a sudden. I know there was something that changed in your life, or maybe something that you said to yourself, I think I need to be doing this instead of that, or maybe a certain event happened. So can you share just a little bit of that with us before we get into anything else?
Absolutely, Barbara. It's a very long story, and this is why I have two productions under Josette XMP Productions going. They tell my story. So one is a featured film called The Prostitute's Daughter, and it traces my up and down journey with lots of trauma and identity struggle, having to mask a lot of things. But it's
Mm-hmm.
a winner story at the end because I
Mm-hmm.
become the producer and actress of my own production. And the other one is a documentary called Homeless with a PhD. So I know people see that I have a roof, but it's truly because I've gained enough visibility in El Paso, Texas, to have been dodging staying in shelters for a while, which I'm so thankful for. And this is again a winner story because I graduated advocating for my medical case with my PhD. And so this is why I started making the headlines. Of course, I had to do a lot of work behind the scene because when you don't have the funds, you have to step into your own power. And
Mm-hmm.
so I realized that being able to do that, I could also guide others in doing so because I'm a high school dropout with a PhD. I was able to prove my medical case by myself. I'm neurodivergent, so kind of a little bit all over the place. And I used to see that as something I needed to change or repress. And now I'm using it to step into my own power, doing a million of things to gain the visibility I need until those productions are made, which I believe is going to help a lot of people in many ways.
Oh my, that's okay. We need to
Sorry,
peel
I
this because
diverged
you just
again.
have. I mean, I was just like, first of all, I'm just getting over the fact that with the two productions and your story and how, oh my God, and you're talking about you're not a celebrity. Come on now, We nip that in the bud right now. No, we're gonna nip that in the bud right now
Thank
because
you. But I
yeah, yeah.
appreciate you perceiving me that way. I welcome it.
And well, you've done the work. And see, one thing I love through everything you just said, and I want people to really take heed of this, is everything you said, you didn't give up through all the things that you went through. Like you said, almost being homeless, all the other kind of things that you were saying, you didn't give up. You said, you know what, I'm not going to go left. I'm going to go right here, no matter what. See, you're the no matter what person. No matter what it gives, I'm going to give it. And then you got a PhD. You
Yes,
well,
I
you were
did the
in high
first.
school drop. Come on now. You're showing people right now, Queen, that there's no excuses. There is none. I have to even look at myself and say, okay, Barbara, let me look in the mirror, because that is amazing. And see, that's why I love bringing these coaches on, because you get to hear their stories and say to yourself, wait a minute, I'm kind of connected to see. That's why I like bringing these stories out, Queen, because people need to see the connection between their coaches and them. So a lot of times, because a lot of times they see us now, right? And what we're doing right now, they say, oh, they got it. They've been, they're out there, they're doing their visibility, they're doing everything, they're helping other people, but they don't know behind that curtain. And I always say I keep thinking of Wizard of Oz when I say behind the curtain, but it was bad on that end. This is a good thing on this end, where you were that person that they were like maybe years ago. You can understand and get why they feel a certain way. So getting into that part, how you talk about how you transform lives, experiences, setbacks, and all that, because you had it in yourself. Give us a little, I just want to just talk a little bit about how you got to that point where you knew that you had to show people that their stories are important.
Right, so it was 2022. I was blessed by what I call divine intervention, means post-traumatic growth, where I
Mhm.
felt that I was given a choice to give up and jump off a building because life was just that rough with my illness, financial instability, housing insecurity, trauma accumulation, or to truly step into my power. And every choice I was going to make from there on would be answering the hypothetical question of what would I tell my daughter if I had a daughter? And so I don't have kids, but I do love children. And I believe that if I had a kid, I would like to think of myself as the mother who would tell them, believe in your dreams. You are worth it. You are capable. You can do anything that you want. So I started exposing myself to every free coaching I could access because I didn't have the luxury of being able to afford anything. But I looked into neuroplasticity, into breath work, meditation, manifestation. All the speeches I was listening to were intentional, positive about that overcoming story. And I was like, this is what I would tell my daughter. So this is what I'm going to learn to tell myself. I had a very negative self-talk for my entire life, rooted in many events, right? So I didn't have a mother. I was a high school dropout. I had been labeled at risk and special ed, and I was slower than average in some aspects.
Mhm.
And so very insecure and harsh on myself. And I had to completely change that discourse, which couldn't happen overnight, but there was a switch turned on with the desire to, I'm going to fail as many times as it takes to become the person I want to become. And so that person is going to mess up and not be scared of it, because messing up is part of the vulnerability that you have to embrace when you're headed for the stars, right? So the judgment of the world when you mess up and say something that is not accurate, or something that people will make fun of, it's
Mhm.
part of your lesson. So I can either shut me down, or I can use it like, thank you, God, thank you, universe, thank you, whatever people believe in,
Mhm.
for giving me that opportunity to use it as a stepping stone to, I'm okay. It's okay to mess up. I'm going to do better next time.
Ooh, you're saying the words that I love, Queen, especially when you said the stepping stone. I always tell people your rough spots, your earthquakes and floods in life are just a stepping stone to strengthen you. And you have shown that in so many ways. I mean, everything that you said, Queen, that you didn't give up. Even decide, you even talked about even jumping. Like I said, I'll just jump a building or something like that. But you didn't. You said, no, I can't do that. I know that there's something more in me. And I know people probably see that in you when they're working with you. So I want to talk a little bit about how to like, because I know it's not just like, boom, I'm so happy with myself and I'm, this is good. I know it takes a process. So how do you help others, kind of go through that journey and understand that voice that they should have?
I love that you're asking that question, Barbara. So I was again in a very difficult situation, right? Housing instability, in and out of shelters, living in garages, and luxuries that I had of couch surfing, pet sitting, things like that. But I couldn't financially afford a coach. So I started studying to become my own coach. But I also
Mm,
understood that to motivate myself to practice it, I could welcome those people that couldn't afford a coach and
mhm,
then would join me in that journey of visualizing, speaking it into existence, writing it, visualizing,
mhm,
practicing it. Because if it's on a schedule and I'm leading others, I have the responsibility to do my duty to study, to learn, and to do it with them, for them.
mhm,
So it's been extremely empowering, and I give credit to all of those hundreds of people along my journey from 2022 to now, to my advancement. To That's the reason I'm in magazines. That so I can't afford to pay magazines, but I have enough visibility now where people reach out, and so they're like, you know what, can you coach me? Because I see what you've done with yourself. You
mhm,
don't necessarily need a degree or a certification. You can become the demonstration of what coaching means. And so nothing brings me down right now. When people tell me what you're trying to do is impossible, I'm like, impossible is not in my vocabulary right now. And that's a limitation you put on yourself. Now, those people that see this in my journey, they seek out those coaching services, those classes, those guidance,
mhm.
and we figure out a way to learn from each other. Because I don't know it all, and I still mess up plenty of time, right? We're just human beings.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my
Too
God.
much. I
No, no, no,
I
no, no.
tend to.
No, this is about, I told you, be selfish. It's about you right now today. So I wanted to, I love how you said that you brought other people on your journey to show, okay, not only you're working on you first to be that leader that you are, but you brought others with you so they can start understanding and believing in themselves and getting that confidence. I love how you start off with that because I kind of started the same way. So I understand. That's why I said it doesn't just not like overnight process where you're changing because we got a lot, there's a lot of garbage in people's lives, right? We just there's a lot of things that went on. But I like how you always, every time you said about what you went through, Queen, you turn it around, you said, you know what, there's more. I need to be that example. I need to be accountability for myself first. Then I need to be accountability for the others that I coach. Even if at that time, like you said, the financial part wasn't right there, but you still was already visioning. See, I want to talk a little to you about that. You said put the vision out there, write it down. So I want to explain a little bit. Can you explain a little bit more about that? Because I know that's part of your coaching.
Right. So I practice manifestation. Some people might call it prayer or different things. But truly, it's one, you have to know what you want. You have to have it clearly. And a lot of people settle for a job, for whatever, paying their mortgage and their car, and that's fine. I am no one to decide whether that is your journey. But
Mhm.
if you have truly a dream that's way out there, you have to, one, be clear about it. Two, you have to write it down, speak it into existence, and never give up. So for instance, when I started looking for producers, I couldn't afford an agent. And
Mhm.
so I had to learn how to become my own agent. And that was amazing because I learned so much.
Yes.
But even with an agent, I didn't have a name in the game yet. So
Mhm.
every rejection or silence I got, I used that as an opportunity to learn the business to become my own producer. And I didn't know when or how it would happen, but I was speaking it to existence, writing about it.
Mhm.
And sooner or later, which was February of this year, a couple of years later, I became the own producer of my own company. And I'm now ready. I mean, I have so much visibility that I've built with nothing. And I need to emphasize the not paying for the pro version of any social media, the verification of an ID, which helps. I haven't had any of those things. And people still seek me because they see the resilience. Once you step into your power, you know what you want, you attract the right people in your life. And you're part of this, Barbara. I know that everything is meant to happen.
Yes.
I now see even the negative things, the trauma that I've endured, where again, you can use it as a rock that's hurting you, or you use it to build your castle as a stepping stone. So that's what I've been doing. Like, hey, it didn't kill me. And I am not going to tell people that this is how it should be, but I can live it enough so that people get inspired and want to follow through.
Yes, definitely. Oh, I love how you said, you take those stones and build your castle. See how that goes back to the queen? Well, the queen has a kingdom, they have an empire. And like you said, you're taking each step of those stones of, I always tell people, and I want you to, before we run out of time, is talk a little about your story and how showing up authentically. And that's what you've been doing through this whole interview. And I love that. People resonates with that. So can you talk a little bit about how it is important to do that? I know some people be like, I'll tell this, but I don't want to tell that. And one thing I don't do, Queen, is I don't push people at all. If they're not comfortable at that time to do it. But I also understand that there's an importance when you get to that level. So can you talk a little bit about how to, showing up authentically is a good tool?
Absolutely. So again, my productions are very authentic. The prostitute's daughter come with a lot of stigma because I come from a woman that lived with severe mental health concerns, addiction, prostitution, or worse, because there is also little differentiating stories from my family that are worse than prostitution. And again, there is also stigma against towards homelessness, right? There's like, oh, homeless, no money, we don't want to work with that. And there is stigma amongst neurodivergent communities, people that operate differently, people that are slower. So that I come with all this, right, in terms of identity, but I'm using it to filter out people that are not meant to be in my life, because I'm still very much aware, right, that some people will perceive me because of certain words, a way where they will be drawn back, like, no, I don't want anything to do with that. Oh, that's negative. And that's great, because only the people that are meant to be in my life will show up at that exact time, and they will leave accordingly to whatever the plan is. My journey is to be focused on me, building that strength, that self-esteem, and that faith, just delusional faith all the way, that whatever happens is meant to happen exactly as it does. So I nurture that preciously.
I love, Queen, how you said that, people are, and I always tell people this, people are going to come to you that are basically divine. I say divine to come to you. And if people take it in a negative tone or whatever the case may be, because there's always going to be that. You're always going to, because we go through things where people are not comfortable. A lot of things that we go through is places where people are just not comfortable. Talking about suicide, talking about homeless, talking about, a different way of a person learns, talking about, like you said, sexual issues that people might have in the past. And the list goes on. But in every capacity, somebody either been through it or knows somebody that went through it. So it's not like, okay, we're the only ones on the earth that's dealing with it. Everybody does, but a lot of people don't like to talk about it too much because of where they're at, maybe. I like how you said, Lo, again, you are leading the people, even if the people don't feel comfortable, you're still shining a light on them, because they might come one day and say, you know what, Queen, I heard you say about the prostitution thing. It wasn't make me feel comfortable, but because it wasn't make me feel comfortable because I dealt with this in my life. See, that's when they start coming out. And that's when that light starts to hit in their lives, because now they know somebody went through it, overcame it boldly, teaching others, And they can always come back around to you and say, you know what? I get it now. I need you now. I wasn't ready yet, but now I'm ready. So I see that. I always tell people, just because the ones that I call them, sometimes we call them the haters, that doesn't mean they're haters. There may be some deep, deep, deep that they still got to deal with. And you never know. They might come back around a year ago and year next and say, you know what? When you talked about such and such, I didn't feel comfortable with it because I was dealing with something like that. Thank you so much for being that light. And now I need you. So, we don't want, I always say you got a divine people's going to come to you. Then you got the people that are just still working inside of themselves. And I wanted to say all that because I want people to understand with you, Queen, that you're there for if you're ready now, if you're ready 6 months from now, if you're ready a year from now. She's here to help you, guide you, and make you bold. I love that. Boldly. Oh, I love the word. Okay, I'm going to stop talking because I still give you some of your selfishness here. So now, one other thing. You talk about using their stories to create meaningful impact and connection. We kind of talked a little bit here and there about it. But how do you work with people, again, people that come into your world and making them understand that?
So again, I don't tell people what to do. I think that part of my style, which is very common in coaching and counseling and things like that, is to be bold enough to show them the shadow work I've had to do with myself.
Mhm.
Accepting in front of the cameras things I'm not proud of is part of it, right? Because the world is going to judge you, but are you capable of sharing it all? And once you are sharing it all with the intent to becoming better, with that vision of who I want to become is who I am right now. This is truly through example, I would say, and with an understanding that I follow a lot of examples myself because I
Mhm.
have a lot of things to improve on. I am learning as I speak sometimes. And that vulnerability is part of my authentic way of saying, you know what, I don't know it all. And I still battle with insecurities, and I might stutter sometimes, and I might not make eye contact. But I want you to know that I'm still doing this and I made it, right? So I'm not doing it perfectly because no one truly is. Some people are just better at putting on a mask. And I'm learning how to be authentic, learn, and guide at the same time, which I think it's fantastic. I feel so honored to be doing this because I'm learning with the person and improving with people.
Yes. And you're showing them too that it's okay sometimes maybe not to feel great some days. We're not going to be all the way all the time every day. So I like how you show your vulnerability for yourself so they feel comfortable being vulnerable for themselves. And that's the coaching, that's the leadership that you have. I always have to get on me because I'm like, I want to be accountable because if I'm helping and showing people how to grow visibility and make sure that they have a voice and stuff, because that's what I like to do with what I do. I have to show, and I have to show them even through the struggles, it's okay, and we can do this together. So I love it, love it, love it. Oh my God, I could talk to you for a while here. You are amazing, Queen. So with that, I want to make sure because I know we've been talking about all the things that you do for others and what you have accomplished. But any more, I want to give you just 30 seconds. I'm going to take myself down off the screen. And I just want you to just give any lasting thoughts that you can give to the audience that you want to give to them. And I'll be right back and we'll wrap it up from there.
Okay, well, I guess one of the things I will highlight is that not everybody has the luxury of feeling ready before they do something. And so for my production, I wasn't necessarily ready to become a producer fully, but I learned a lot and I'm still learning a lot. It's all about stepping into your power and challenging those insecurities that you're not enough and can't make it. It's advancing with a vision, speaking it into existence, and then attracting the right people along the way. You are capable of so much. And every time you doubt yourself, think about what you would say to somebody you truly love. Would you tell your best friend that they are incapable? Don't answer that if you're not a good best friend. Only answer it if you truly are a good best friend. Believe in yourself, move with intention, and I am ready to see you shine. Is that good enough?
Oh, everything you said is good enough, Queen. Yeah, and I just want to
Okay, I was unrehearsed, very authentic.
very authentic. See, this is what we do here at the Coaches Lounge. We're very authentic, and we bring on those wonderful coaches. I want to put down below that you can reach this wonderful queen. This is her email address. I'm going to peek that for a minute. And Josette, I just want to say so much thank you again for being that leader in this world right now, because we need this right now. A lot of people just need to be more authentic, feel comfortable with themselves, feel the clarity in them. I love how you talked about, really being clear and focused, not just, so broad, because I always say that we have an individual gift in us that's unique in us, that's original, right? So we need to be clear. We need to be clear in the vision. We need to be clear and confident and have, I'm going to say it again, that boldness. I love you say boldly when you said the end, if you was to name the show, to be boldly. And you have been, and I commend you for that. You are family now. So that means that you can come back anytime to the Coaches Lounge. If anything's popping up in your world, please reach out to me. You are family on this production. And with that, I hope if you can't see what I put down to contact her, to reach me to get to her. So there's no excuse to make sure you want to vote. Yeah, there's no there's no excuse to contact. They say, oh, I didn't get her contact information. I didn't see the email. No, I don't want to hear all that. You know me, and I will contact her. So with that, lady, thank you again for coming on the Coaches Lounge. Everybody, please, this is a time when we spotlight experts' advice for life and in business. Always understand that you have a calling, you have a gift in you, but sometimes, just sometimes with that, and I'm not going to say sometimes, most of the time, have that coach that really believes in you to lift you up in that gift that you have, because that's the opportunity and that's your accountability to show your gifts. Get that help if you need it. We'll see you next time.